to avoid Chelsea as well. A very Thomas Tuchel type performance from them, Niall. A clean sheet, economical in front of goal and impressive once again.
Yeah, and at a frenetic pace where they were closing down and really unsettled the opposition, and they couldn't find any answers at all. It was coming at them so fast and furious. And then, as you say, when they got the ball, they were pretty economical. They did a real good job of handling the game and were in charge the whole way through. Never once did any of us feel that there was a wobbly moment even in the whole sort of playing out of the match. I think they're a team that are really enjoying themselves now. He's got them, you know, there's a right good tune coming out of this team now at the right time. And I think you're right there. There'll be, you know, other clubs looking at this and saying, well, actually, you want to avoid them. And it's all the talks about Bayern and PSG and Manchester City. But I think
themselves in the reckoning.
Yeah, I think
what do you think, Brian?
Playing, yeah.
Well, I think I said as the group was finishing, I think you asked me about did I think Chelsea could be in the run, and I said yeah, I thought that they could win it because I think the manager has made a big difference. He has been along the road before. He's been in Dortmund, PSG last year, guided them to the final, just edged out by a brilliant Bayern Munich team. He has that experience under his belt. And what we saw tonight was goalkeeper that did his stuff when he needed to. A rough, tough defensive line. Got away with the one with Aspilicueta. As far as I'm concerned, it was a penalty kick at no score, which could have changed the rhythm of the game, but maybe not. Dominant in midfield. And a lot of potential in the front part. It still hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah.
But good players.
The recipe is almost there, isn't it? But they are safely through. Sometimes you just want to run up the stairs and wake everybody up, don't you? Thiago Silva there. Not available for Chelsea tonight, but kicking every ball in the stands. Mason Mount joining in the celebrations as well. In the bigger picture, Brian, what does it say that the fourth best team in England, arguably, were so comfortable over the two legs against the best team in Spain? According to the league,
it would indicate that very strongly that the Liga is in decline. You look at Barcelona and Real Madrid, how they have performed. Barcelona obviously gone out, Real Madrid still in, and we were discussing earlier were they back in contention on the base of last night's performance, and I questioned that. I don't think they'd be good enough as it goes on. I think they're too reliant on past players, unless Hazard comes back and has an influence. But I think that the fact that Atletico have been on top of the league until now, they're four ahead of Barcelona and six ahead of Real at the moment, and have dropped a few points lately. Would indicate that the league isn't as strong as it was. I think there's a lot of turmoil around the leagues of Europe, the main leagues as well as the smaller leagues, in relation to how they're fixed financially. For the obvious reasons over the last year, we hear of the substantial debts at the majority of the clubs. We don't know how some of them are actually keeping going, given that their income has fallen dramatically. And I'm sure that's the case with Atletico, as it is with the other top Spanish teams.
Yeah, and sometimes when I look at a situation like that at two teams, I go, who would I have on the Atletico team to come into the Chelsea team tonight? Maybe Felix on a good day. I wouldn't have one other player.
He'd be doing well to get into the team based on who they have.
And that's not just on tonight's performance, just I'm looking for it. In the next 6-8 weeks, I look what they have. No, sorry.
Yeah, well, Trippier looked a bit of a player for them, and he hasn't been playing much. I thought he looked a bit of a player, but I agree with Niall. There isn't a player. The goalkeeper let in a soft goal, but normally he's bang on, and he's one for a top club.
Well, the goal, they got another one later on from Emerson, which we'll see shortly, but the key goal from Ziyech, I mean, the point that Brian is making about budgets and financials, Roman Abramovich last summer spent, the guts of 200 million, and he will be a very happy man when he looks at this goal, because it was three of the men that he brought in for massive money combining.
The three of them came together, and it was on the break. Good head out here from Kante, just in front of the defence, but he does so well here, Havertz. To get first ahead of the Trippier to win the ball, then to get it into the path of Werner, and Werner does the rest by providing a super ball, which, wasn't the best finish in the world from Ziyech. And you're right, the goalkeeper Oblak, who we've rated here for the last few years as one of the best, you see onside there, could have done a lot better. But everything about this move was the three signings that were brought in to bring something extra special. They showed what they can do. And it wasn't just this tonight. I think at times Ziyech was probably the pick of them, although Werner had some lovely moments, and it was a better night for all three. I think Havertz,
without quite being explosive and spectacular, maybe that.
Yeah,
you might think might happen at some stage.
We said beforehand we were feeling sorry for Giroud and saying, he can feel bad about being left out. But they were so explosive tonight and did things so quickly that it was the right move from the manager, and the manager and the owner will be happy with the way they performed.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear Diego Simeone's reaction after this game, Brian, and whether he would talk about the penalty shouts that they had in the first half. Certainly, maybe the second one that we're going to look at again here looked like it could have been a penalty.
Yeah, well, like in the modern terminology, I wouldn't say it was a stone waller, as they say nowadays, but I thought it was a penalty. This one I didn't think it was. I thought that was a handball, should have been given in Rudiger's favour. His recovery is excellent here. Look, he sees the danger. Zuma stays in the centre, allows him to get back across. I think he gives him a bit of a hoosh, but given that Suarez, I think these things come back to haunt you a little bit. His reputation for being a diver and giving referees a hard time and biting fellas and whatever else he does, pinching fellas. I don't think he gets a lot of sympathy for referees. This one with Carrasco, I thought was a penalty. As I said, not Stonewaller.
The ref's right behind him in line. You just wonder, did he see the arm go out?
Yeah,
because I think if he sees the arm go out, he was so emphatic the way he waved it away. He's right in line with the two in there. I wonder, does he see that right arm going around the waist? Everybody else does.
And he obviously didn't get any message from the linesman that was in line with it. But I think this is where some of the stuff that Atletico go on with.
Do you think the referee just had a pain in his face?
And the team that, so I'm sure there's a referees that go,
I don't like this
gang. And if there's a 50-51, it doesn't go in their favour.
And we'll see the sending off shortly as well, Brian. I want to just maybe touch back on something I mentioned a minute ago, that combination up front, and Werner is the one that people are looking at. Look, the tabloid tittle-tattle is suggesting they want to get Haaland in and maybe send Werner back to Germany in exchange or something like that. Tuchel, played it down yesterday. How was Werner's night this evening? I
thought Werner was very good. Once again, his movement and his timing of his runs, his pace was excellent in the match. I thought he was actually, the best of the three. Havertz, look at him here, getting at this, shows good strength, hold up play, then comes up with a trick to get in along the end line here, and just runs out a bit of room in the end. Here he swivels and hits, doesn't quite hit the target. I mean, this was the bit that's letting him down, scoring goals. He needs to get back on a run of goals. He's 5 in the league, 3 in the Champions League so far. His part in this is all ready to describe. Great pace again, time the run. He's well on side, time of the pass, delivery, one touch, right foot, left-footed pass. He's a very, very good player, but he has to start scoring goals regularly. And there was a message tonight that Giroud didn't get on the pitch. Good attempt that time, and nice save from Oblak. But I thought Ziyech had a mixed game. There was a couple of loose passes. I didn't think he was brilliant. I thought Havertz played very, very well in the game. And there was little signs of a partnership. Not all three of them coming together every time. Just again, could he have passed it? Could he have let that ball out a little bit sooner? But he's anxious to have a go. So he's taking on shots from a harder angle because he wants that break. Because he would have scored them before he came to Chelsea. He was getting away with them, they're going into the net. Yeah. So he's just got to add that, and that could come in a blink. It come in the next league match, and then he's on a streak.
But even in fairness to him, he has 10 goals and 7 assists in all competitions, more involvements, goal involvements, as they say in the modern lingo, than any other Chelsea player. So he's doing his bit. From Atletico's point of view, then, look, we're going to look at bits and pieces that they had. It didn't feel like they were sort of camped on the Chelsea goal line, maybe late on, arguably. But was that as much to do with how well Chelsea played as with how poor they were? Or
Atletico are just not tough anymore. Chelsea outfought them. Chelsea wanted it more. Chelsea were in their faces more, and they had moments, but nothing more than moments. This was a good run by Felix, gets himself into the box, but Kante is well up for it and gets it back to the goalkeeper. Not a lot in that. I suppose they were a goal down now and wanting to get something, and Suarez hasn't gone in the run across 6-yard line. He's complaining that it should have been pulled back to him, but they were just off colour on that type of stuff. Nothing gelled up top at all through the game. This ball pops out from a clearance, comfortable save really in the end, and we're 15 minutes before the the end of the game.
What about him now, the €126 million man, Joe Felix?
He doesn't have a lot around him. As I said, they're not even tough. It'd be a tough team around him who are creating sort of opportunities and dominating the ball and possession. But then they go as far as doing this here. What he's
justified sending off?
Yeah, I think so. Savage knows better than this. I wonder, would he give it anyway if Rudiger hasn't gone and pretended that he was shot? But the referee, he blew immediately, didn't he? The referee saw it and was having absolutely nothing else but Savage leaving the pitch. And it just, so that toughness that Atletico always had, that way they impose themselves in matches that are really hard to play against, it's gone.
They were outplayed, outfought, according to you. Now, I can just run the coup de grace then from Emerson late on. Brian, deserve it then over the two legs for Chelsea to win by 3 goals?
Yeah, because I didn't think the 1-0 victory in the first game reflected their dominance overall. See, it's a breakout here, get a lucky break, good surging run forward, and look, 3v1 at this stage, time of the pass, excellent. And that's his first touch when he comes on. And that's nice, but I think there's a little message to Giroud there as well that didn't bring him on. He brought on 4 substitutes in the kind of attacking part of the pitch, bar Chilwell, and he didn't bring on Giroud, but he takes it really, really well, Emerson. He's another one that looked like he was on his way out until this manager comes, and then he gets a goal. See, if he's supposed to be injured, look at him running on his right leg with a gimp. That to me wasn't too clever.
No.
If he wants to get back in the team, he should be minding himself, not showing like that's playing to the gallery. He knows he's on the camera and all that, but he was running like
the manager, Brian. You'd be in the dressing room saying, "Oh, you."
He was like a fella getting down off a horse that had been on it for about 5 years on his leg. he was struggling, Tommy. So
we'll see now. Thiago Silva out for another 6 weeks tomorrow. Wait till you see.
2 celebrations.
Indeed.
Patrick's Day celebrations.
Well, it happens to the best of us.